Today on the Topping Show, Donald Trump reacts to Lakin Riley's killer getting a guilty sentence. Jaguar woke copy nothing commercial flops for being non-binary weird and basically being a copy of what we've seen before. The View advocates that men should be able to go to women's bathrooms and are irate that it might soon be illegal. Nvidia Q3 results are in and sales are up, and Wolverine Ground beef is being recalled. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. Tease me, see that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, we're still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does come with a Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to a standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more. Again, that's www.toppingtechnologies.com. Lastly, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part podcast, you have Nvidia Q3 sales are in, and they are pretty good enough, but some are concerned the growth rate is decreasing. They're in fact they're not the infallible, perfect company everyone thought they were. Though, granted, no one should be too surprised by that. Eventually, every growth rate does decrease, with the exception of government spending. Dumch, as supposed to be a political pun. Hopefully we get that spending cut down soon. But Nvidia, let's get their stock really quick. And again, none of this is financial advice, and well, truth be told, when it comes to the stock market, hindsight is always 2020. And yeah, there's a reason why you don't see anyone quitting working at Nvidia, especially when they get stock options, because yeah, pretty darn good investment. So, and this might be painful to think about what could have been in terms of, what we should have invested in. Overall, the stock, again, lifetime, it's up 367,912.5% lifetime. That's astronomically good, which yeah, that's almost comically good. Now, yes, that's their max. Now, their 5-year trend still ridiculous good, up $2,693.45, or sorry, 2,693.45%, up $141. Now, again, currently trading for $147.15 per share. Yes, it'll change by the time this video is rendered and uploaded, what stock market does. Now, zooming into the 1-year growth, it's even more comically impressive. It's up 194%. Year to date, they're up 205.5%. Past 6 months, it's doubled 54.04%. Past month, it's up 2.25%. So, a little squirrely past month. And then last week, it's up about, let's see, around 2.24%. Now, the stock actually did dip temporarily when this news of their Q3 results were just first announced because, again, so many people are concerned. Well, yeah, you beat your sales, but it's not astronomically beating the sales like it was 2 fiscal quarters ago. It is quite fascinating to see there's more people tuning into the Nvidia earnings call. It almost reminds me of the Halo release parties we used to have for Xbox back in the day, especially in tech. There's so many people invested in this company. There's so many people, really, this whole speculation of AI is on this company because, again, they're the largest, most successful manufacturer of GPUs, which is, again, used mainly these days for AI. Now, going to the actual article, coming straight from the Nvidia's newsroom, you can see their classic logo there. Again, this says, quote, Nvidia announced financial results for third quarter fiscal 2025. Now, they say that, quote, record quarterly revenue of, $35.1 billion is up 17% from Q2 and up 94% from a year ago. So that's well above and beyond beating just standard inflation. Or, granted, we have more than standard inflation these days, but you understand what I mean. They know that record quarterly data center revenue of $30.8 billion, up 17% from Q2 and 112% up from a year ago. Which, again, most people, when it comes to Nvidia, they see that cool little green sticker on the laptop that they purchase. They do have consumable, products, especially even if you're building your own PC, you get graphics card. But really, where the bread and butter is these days is the data center, which, again, more and more businesses are moving to the cloud. But remember, a wise man once said, there's no such thing as a cloud. It really is just someone else's computer. More often than not, it's a rack-mounted server in a data center somewhere you never see. It's usually a mysterious building with no sign for security purposes. Now, diving into the details, they said that, quote, Nvidia reported revenue for the third quarter of 35.1 billion, 17% up a year before. For the quarter, GAAP earnings per diluted share was 78 cents per share, up 16% from the previous quarter, up 111% from a year ago. Non-GAAP earnings per diluted share was 81 cents, up 90% from the previous quarter, and 103% from a year ago. There's a fun little chart here, which shows an astronomical increase in sales. Now, gross margin increased, but again, it's not a lot. But in the aggregate, it does add up. We're talking about percentages. Geez Louise, gross margin, 74.6% was, well, actually, went down a little bit from 75.1%. So that's not the best. The 0.5 points. Operating expenses went up by almost $500 million. Now, kind of overview. Now the revenue expected was 37.5 billion, plus or minus 2%, 73% there. Yeah, the data center. We got partnerships announcing with Hewlett Packard Enterprise, Dell, which again, major manufacturer of servers or data centers. So good news for Nvidia, but again, the growth rate is decreasing. So it'll be interesting to see. Granted, the stock already rebounded. Again, this was announced last week, but the stock dipped 2%. It already beat that. So again, some people did sell their stock because of this news. But in terms of overall, and again, this is financial advice, but again, there's such a high barrier to entry to compete with Nvidia. I mean, every major tech company claims to try to make their own, but it's going to take a lot of ramp up time. And the way they treat their employees at Nvidia and the stock options they give them, I don't think it's going to be very feasible to poach a lot of talent like you could do a traditional tech company. That's why I'm even more skeptical about anyone really competing with Nvidia realistically anytime soon. But let me know, do you think they'll continue to grow? I mean, traditionally, again, Q4 is literally right now. Most Q4 for companies is calendar year Q4, and I can't help but think, how are they going to do this year? More often than not, that's when most businesses are doing the best. They call it, I mean, not just a great song by the electrical company AC/DC, but there's a reason that they call it Back in Black or Black Friday. It's on the physical ledger when it used to be written in ink. Well, red used to be negative, you're losing money, and black used to be positive, you're actually making a profit. The Black Friday is traditionally when a lot of these big businesses would make a profit. And for most companies, that's still one of the best times of the year. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep up the sales momentum and how they do Q4. And let me know in the comments, do you think, could we see any competitor coming out of the woodworks? I mean, do you think we'll maybe see some imports of third party? What do you think the future is for GPUs or graphics cards in general and AI development, AI cards? Do you think could they ever be overthrown? I mean, shoot, there's a one time in history when we thought no one would ever beat Sears, and unfortunately now it's basically reduced to nothing. So never say never, but let me know in the comments your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the cultural podcast, you have Jaguar, woke, copy nothing commercial, flops with weird non-binary characters, and getting roasted by Elon and pretty much everyone on social media. Now, it is quite sad because at one point in history, Jaguar used to make some of the most beautiful cars on the planet. I mean, the E-Type from the 60s, I mean, it had the perfect long, unique curvature of the hood, a nice old big engine, stick shift like every car should have by default. And I mean, there are few cars that really stand the test of time, and that original Jaguar certainly did. In recent decades, they've become very ugly, unreliable, and mostly trash, with about 18 people buying them. I'm kidding. They have 19 customers. But they've been thinking, how can we reinvent ourselves as a business? How can we compete better? And keep in mind, they're doing so bad, they basically paused production this year. They took a year off, which I don't know any successful. Let me take it back. I don't know any. There has never been a successful company that's done that in the automotive industry. And it's not as if they're taking a year off specifically to retool or shut down factories. It's because they have so much inventory on dealership lots that are not moving. It's terrible. Now they are retooling some of the EV plant, or they're going to be making some new plants for the EVs. But there's so much inventory. So if you want a good deal, I suppose you have a lot of negotiating power. If you were to, I would say I don't recommend this, but I guess you could go to a Jaguar dealership and try to get one of those vehicles. I would recommend it because I'm pretty sure a side effect when driving those vehicles is feeling like you're dead inside. But it's certainly an option out there. Now, we'll go ahead and I'll pull up this tweet or post from Jaguar, which in terms of marketing, they at least do pay for the fancy X Banana Falcon trim level. I forget what you call the actual gold check mark, is the business authorization. You pay a little bit more, and in theory, you get seen more on social media. Now, previously, we talked about how they just changed their logo, so it's going to be different. Well, this is even worse. So not only do you see the logo, but here's a commercial that they wanted us all to see. So here's on the screen Jaguar, and they simply say copy nothing. It's hilariously ironic because it reminds me of pretty much every advertisement I've seen that comes out of San Francisco past 24 months plus, but I partially digress. And I do apologize. This is as the youth might say, cringe, but it's only about 30 seconds long. We'll get through this together. So already starting with a bad look. If you're only listening on the Spotify or the Apple podcast, you're missing out. So hopefully you're watching on Rumble or maybe YouTube. But yeah, we're starting off with their new bastardized logo, the font. I want to say rudimentary, to say the least, ripping off. Again, they say copy nothing, but it reminds me of them ripping off Samsung, where they invert one of the letters to look like another letter. It's like Samsung, you have the inverted V to look like the A in their logo. And in this case, they did that with the J. So the J becomes an R. Yeah, but copy nothing, right? Mm-hmm. I thought I could make it past a second. I couldn't. So, yes, a bunch of very creepy looking people. The first is I'm going to guess, a biological female African American woman. Now, she has a fro, but she has it, it's almost as if she was not done downloading. Like she's an Atari 2600 character with a missing pixel, because there's a 90-degree angle chopped out of the fro. Also appears, I don't know if she has a chest binder on, or maybe this is a guy. Next to her or him is more androgynous people. Now, I'm not sure if this is an elevator. Ironically, an elevator would be infinitely more reliable than any Jaguar, but this is not supposed to be a commercial for Otis elevators. And of course, perhaps the only upside of YouTube is they probably strip out the music, so you won't hear the terrible music if there is any, maybe. So, it's also the main, I'm not sure if this is a protagonist, they're going to make a whole series out of these weird things. The main African-American woman or man standing in the front has giant poofy things on its foot, almost as if it's like a poodle. 5 seconds in, it's already cringe overload. And it looks like they're on Mars or something. And yet, so 5 seconds in, still no pictures of the product. What the hell is this? So now it reminds me, what was that, 300, when you had those dancing weird people that thought they were gods? You have one of those in a weird dress. Again, no picture of the product. It says Live Vivid. Okay, is this commercial for being inebriated on drugs? Is this LSD, MSG, banana fat? I don't know what they call it these days, but is it one of those? Now you have they actually do have a white guy. That's unusual in the commercials these days. He has shoulder length hair. He's wearing I usually commend men for always suiting up, because you always should. But he's wearing a completely red suit. It's not Christmas. It's a little too early. I know it's, Thanksgiving, but still. He's wearing an entirely red suit with a cape. A little sus, as I might say. And then he's painting the screen. And the imagery or the text in the weird new font says, delete ordinary. Uh-huh. Painting the screen. I have another non-binary character who's standing upside down in a room, defying gravity. Then coming inverted. Interestingly enough, holding a sledgehammer painted all yellow. Interestingly enough, I do not believe this individual has the muscle capacity or the ability to hold an actual real sledgehammer, so I suspect that it is some type of, perhaps a polymer or rubber prop. And in this case, this is a non-binary white guy or white individual with a dress, which, again, I'm no fashion aficionado, although I do have the best suit around. Just get one suit, that's all you need in life, that's what I say. But a dress where it stops at the chest. Then they have it's almost like they just deleted a frame, because then on top it has some type of shoulder thingamajig. They broke the dress, yeah. And it says, the screen says break molds, which they did break dress, that's what they did. And they have short makeup on, of course. I'm pretty sure there's probably there's a ring, of course. Nails, or I don't know what you call it. I forget what you call it when the gals paint on nails on top of nails, or they glue it on there. And then it has short, white, like a fro-ish hair. Oh, it's only 17 seconds in. And they're all sitting outside in Mars, I guess? And they say, it's funny because they're all doing basically the same thing. So now half of them are looking one way and then half of them are looking the other way. And they all look at you at the screen as if they're None of them were smiling. It's like they were hostages. And then, what does it say on the screen now? Copy nothing. This sucks. Jaguar. God, that's the most cringe thing I've seen all year. This makes Bud Light look like a brilliant, intelligent marketing company. I mean, so you don't see the product, which is a controversial idea in marketing in and of itself. Some companies have done it successfully. I personally think it's more often than that is one of the worst things to do in marketing. The number of times it's been successfully executed is so rare. I especially in this case, I would give this commercial an F because all this tells me is that Jaguar has become weird. And not in a unique way. Again, they say, it's funny, they say not a copy. This reminds me of every non-binary commercial I've seen in the past 15 years. It does not compel me. It literally tells us nothing about the product. And again, the only thing we know thus far, and spoiler, I think tomorrow they're going to have they'll go review a picture of their bastardized small section of the car that you can see. I mean, we only know, this doesn't even tell us, well, perhaps I'm so overwhelmed with disdain for this commercial. It's so bad, I can barely talk these days, which is saying something because I have my speaking ineptitudes in general. But if you click that subscribe button, it may very well assist with that ineptitudes. When I first started the show, basically no subscribers, and I spoke even faster, stumbling over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely gain subscribers, I've been better at speaking. Yes, it's just a little bit better, but nevertheless, if you could do that, also make my Thanksgiving. Now, getting back to me trying to critique this commercial, literally does not tell us anything about the product. Because again, we know it's going to be a full EV fleet, but that's from previous marketing releases and statements. This doesn't even say that. Though I suppose one could argue that this is similar to many people who drive EVs. I'm only partially kidding. I have a friend or two who drives it. But yeah, this is a pretty bad, both, just looking at it, but also statistically speaking. Now, it did go viral. So I suppose you could argue Jaguar did one thing right. Granted, going viral is not always correlated with sales. The best example of a negative return on investment, or ROI, in history in the business, without going out of business, has to be Dylan Mulvaney's Bud Light fiasco, in which Alyssa Heiderchild, the VP of marketing over there, well, formerly perhaps, well, she thought, let's get Dylan Mulvaney, a trans activist, and we'll give him $185,000 for, I believe, his one video and two pictures. That $185,000 investment in Dylan Mulvaney resulted in $1.2 billion of lost Bud Light sales. So that's a great example of bad marketing. Now, this got 132.9 million views. So again, that seems like a lot of views, but the likes is the like ratio is worse than one of my videos. This is, you got 22,000 likes, which even my ratio is not that bad. Some days, usually. And yeah, that's terrible. So 22,000 likes out of 132.9 million views. And one of the first comments comes from, well, I'm a little biased, but I think this individual is quite handsome and brilliant. It's me, hashtag The Topping Show on X Twitter. And I say, quote, again, my statistic was a little old. I say, quote, 129.4 million views and 21,000 likes. So LOL is 0.01% of people who saw this liked it. Granted, not many people liked that statement, only one person did, but nevertheless, it was a statement. Now, the most successful statement is from Elon Musk himself, saying, quote, do you sell cars? Getting 294,000 likes. Now, Jaguar responded saying, yes, we'd love to show you. Join us for, what the heck is this? A cuppa? C-U-P-P-A? In Miami on December 2nd. Warmest regards, Jaguar. I get 10,000 likes. Did Elon respond? I look forward to seeing your new vehicle lineup. Really? Getting 9.1 thousand likes. Someone responded by the name of Anatine Vixen saying, go woke, go broke. Getting 48,000 likes. Whoa. Jaguar responded simply saying, go hard, which, I don't know about that. And someone responded saying, or this is a Minuteman Outfitter says, why is everything British gay now? Getting 17,000 likes. Yeah. Oh, they're certainly unreliable. Oh, there's a famous interview. I forget his name, but there's a famous African-American interview in which he famously asked someone, I'll try his accent. It's fine. My accent might be the worst one ever, but I'll try nevertheless. He goes, why are you gay? And that went viral still going viral years later. And someone's replaced the interviewee with the Jaguar logo, and he's saying, why are you gay? That got 12,000 likes. Another top comment is Robbie Starbuck saying, quote, this just made me want to sell my Jaguar, and I don't even own a Jaguar, getting 15,000 likes. Which, not every British, and again, a lot of people are saying it's gay in a pejorative sense. I think a much more accurate statement, which I'm surprised I can get accolades for this, I would say, Your commercials are now just as effective and reliable as your vehicles. Because, again, they're notoriously unreliable pieces of junk. Kind of like Range Rover, very luxurious, and I believe same Chinese parent company, but notoriously unreliable. I have one friend who has a Range Rover, Land Rover, whatever you call those things. He's the only person who should own one because he actually knows how to fix it himself. That's the only person that should ever own one. Crusader X Bible logo. So it's a cross, a dove, and a Canadian. Interesting. Canadian. Someone who believes in God, a freedom lover behind enemy lines in the totalitarian state in Canada. I think I already gave her a follow. I'll give her a follow. There we go. I'll fix that. She says, quote, along with other businesses that still don't get it, getting 56,000 likes. Jaguar responded saying, hello, thanks for the feedback. We'll be sure to pass it on the team. Getting 30.8 thousand likes. Not Glum31 says, quote, just give us supercharged V8 and new Jaguar XJ that looks like a classic, not this shit. Getting 26,000 likes, which yep. Now, of course, this is when you get really lazy from a social media feedback perspective, or social media. Jaguar simply said, hello, thanks for the feedback. We'll be sure to pass it along to the team. Best wishes. So you're getting lazy, just copy paste it. Then again, they're getting thousands of comments on this. However, if you're a Jaguar, if you have the business scale and size of a company that is a major automotive manufacturer, I would argue you should probably have a couple, you could probably get a couple kids that do the social media for you. So it would be a little bit more effort, but to actually articulately respond to all these comments. Now, I also, another thing, maybe they just don't want controversy. Well, cat's out of the bag, or the Jaguar's out of the bag in that case. But yeah, I'm not sure how they can articulately respond to that. Benevolus says, where's the car? Getting 63,000 likes. And Jaguar simply says, the story's unfolding. Stay tuned. Marie says, I thought you guys made cars. Getting 40,000 likes. Jaguar said, well, we do. All will be revealed. They only got 2.3 thousand likes. But yeah, I mean, in this commercial, at least if they just showed like a quarter panel or just some part of the car, like even just the key of the car, like anything would have been better than this junk. Even those crappy, I guess they're kind of effective. Those silly Apple commercials from the 2000s era where it's almost like a cartoon person dancing. And part of the commercial, they were silly, mostly nonsense, but they actually showed the product, and the product stood out because it's a contrasting color scheme. So at least that showed the product. That's kind of close to what this weird stuff is. I also have Jauntry says, this is surely a joke, came 52,000 likes. Jaguar responded saying, it's a pivotal moment. I agree that this is not a good pivot, but it is a pivot. And again, people want fun. Again, there are some people who want EVs, don't get me wrong, but it's also one of the slowest growing categories in automotive. The adoption rate is decreasing dramatically. There's more sales, but that rate is decreasing. And especially some companies, they should never go full EV. I mean, probably one of the best companies that thankfully backpedaled would be something like Aston Martin. They know people want a handcrafted V12 engine. They want the craftsmanship of a gas engine. They don't want a soulless EV, which again, I understand the use cases of EVs, especially if you only live in a city, you don't go too far and you don't care about long-term ownership cost. Yeah, there's some instances where it makes sense. Or if you like leasing cars, there are some leases where these companies, the manufacturers, are losing money on. It makes sense. There's actually upside. I have one friend who's doing that. But yeah, some cars, like, especially with this luxury, I mean, yeah, just Jaguar, what are you thinking? Well, I'm trying to see if there's anyone sticking up for this company in the comments here. We haven't seen it thus far. And I'm reading every comment in order, so it's by number of likes as well as who you follow. Now, you also have Frederick Wolf says, awful ad. Is this supposed to rescue your tarnished brand? Getting 38,000 likes. Jaguar responds saying, quite the opposite. This is the Renaissance. Oh, that's made my Thanksgiving. A Renaissance. No. No. A Renaissance? Hell no. I can't. Oh, man. It's no. Absolutely not. You're about to have a Temu Jaguar soon. Jeez. Like, people thought, again, they've always had some reliability issues. You think they have bad now? They're going to be even worse when they're an EV company. The Hodge twins simply said, gay as hell. Ain't no one buying Jag after watching this. They got 16,000 likes. As youth might say, they're getting ratioed. Ahmed X says, where's the car? And they have a gif of Ray Charles saying can't see shit. Getting 7.2 thousand likes. Ichi Keenan says, you lost me at 1 second. That was when I commented on the afro with the 90-degree chunk carved out and all the non-binary people. I got 15,000 likes. Oh, thank you. Oh, Finally, something that is visually beautiful. CJ says, this clip demonstrates nicely what you've become. You are unburdened by what has been. The below is what you were. And they have a, this helps. It's a Jaguar E-Type. Let me maximize that for the screen. Which, again, that 1960s piece of craftsmanship, that long curvature of the hood, the spoked rimmed wheels, the knock hubs where, I mean, shoot, before you had lug nuts, you knock them off with a lead hammer I mean, and a big old gas engine, pure analog technology. It's if you're not watching a Rumble or the YouTube, you're missing out on this segment or just go to the Brave tab or open up search engine or the Google. Just look Jaguar E-Type. The E-Type is so beautiful. This one is actually, I believe this is it emerald? Not emerald. The forest green, which I'm a little biased. I've been liking green cars more and more these days. Love my little green Civic, but yeah, that is what Jaguar was. Beautiful, handcrafted, luxury, and now it's gonna be the slowest machine pumped out of China, most likely. Which, yeah. So scrolling down, I'm not seeing any. What's this? This is a more modern Jaguar from Huff saying, "Ha, I fixed your terrible ad. It took 2 minutes." They took some AI. They generated a picture with a gas-powered Jaguar and an attractive lady. Very good. Got 13,000 likes. So in 2 minutes, that AI generated picture this person made, they got 13,000 likes. And this only got, the main ad got 22,000 likes. Which, and again, going to the comments, I always debate. Again, it's got more difficult to falsely inflate numbers on X Twitter since Elon started the verification and all that kind of stuff. But it is interesting that, again, it got 22,000 likes. We haven't seen a single positive comment. We might have just come across the Chris Christie effect, a fascinating social media phenomenon in which you get 0 positive responses, which when Chris Christie is running for the presidential nominee Republican Party last time, well, he had 2 instances on social media where he had 0 positive comments from his post, which is statistically impossible because in theory, Chris Christie has family, friends, maybe campaign staff, and yet, yeah, he didn't. There's 2 instances where he got 0 positive feedback. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, this one statement got 13,000 likes. David Santa Clara says, quote, "Do you have to be gay to drive a Jaguar?" Getting 13,000 likes. Let's see here. Andrew Tate says, "This is bullshit. I have 76 cars. I don't own a Jag, and now I never will." Holy cripes. That got 86,000 likes. Wow. Oh, man. A lot of people comparing it to the Paris Olympics. Again, we've been scrolling for a New York minute, and we haven't seen it yet. A lot of people having the keyboard, click the upgrade button, you have the old logo. They see the new logo, they try to do the backspace button, or it says F go back, getting 10,000 likes for that. Warren Wilhelm says, maybe you haven't heard. It's the presidential results of Trump getting 312, Kamala 226. I got 2.7 thousand likes. Here we go. It's a good juxtaposition. What is this? They say copy nothing. They have a picture next to another group of non-binary people. I can't make it out. It says United Colors of Bending. It's basically another commercial. I can't make out the specific logo for that business, but yeah, it's not. They say copy nothing, but I mean, this is the same. Yeah, it's just junk we've seen for years. Let's see. Jaguar sales figures. Yeah, they've been going down from 2018. Yeah, geez. Yeah, let's look at this quick fact really quick. Jaguar annual sales. So in 2018 is 180,000. 2019 is 123,000. 2020 is 102,000. 2021 86,000. 2022 61,600. 2023 64,240. So they're not doing great. And pivoting to EVs, again, there's so much competition from. There's already competition for luxury EV, and you have Lucid, you have Tesla, and I can't but think, how is this going to make them any money? Will this turn out? Let me know. Do you think, again, pull those sales figures? Will they make more sales in the next couple of years with the EVs than the previous generation with this new rebranding? Will this get more than 64,241 units sold? That was their total sold in 2023. 2024 year is still almost done. Again, this year is so bad. They still have stuff on. It's almost unfathomable. They took a year off because their dealer lots are overfilled with inventory. No one is buying it. So let me know in the comments. Do you think they'll actually have more success as an EV company for Jaguar? Or if someone wants a luxury EV, would they not just buy a Tesla? Or even a Lucid? Or even, if you're one of 18 people who want, you get a Mercedes EV. There are other options. Also, major manufacturers are most of them are decreasing their investments in EVs and they're shifting to hybrids. That's one of the fastest growing categories in automotive in the United States, especially. Not that I'm a fan, me. It doesn't have, I would only get something with 3 pedals, also known as manual transmission. I partially digress. But do you think going to EVs will be a winning business idea for Jaguar? From a cultural perspective, we just saw here. Again, I didn't cherry pick. I went down all the comments in order by who I'm following. And again, it filters it by first who you're following, and then who are you, and then one of the top comments by likes. And I follow a lot of famous people on the left, on the right, in the middle, libertarian, so you can get kind of less of an echo chamber. And again, we're scrolling down more and more and more. I don't see a single positive comment. So if there is a positive comment, that means it got basically no likes. And again, I'm scrolling down more and more and more, and still nothing. Is this a stock ticker? What is this? It says keep up the great work, but yeah, look, now this claims their stock went down. Give me a New York minute. I want to pull up the parent company stock. So Jaguar stock price, because let's see, because they're owned by Tata Motors out of India. That's a parent company behind Range Rover as well as Jaguar, and they own a couple other businesses as well. But let's see here. So it's gonna be Tata. What is it? Tata Motors. Let's see here. So yeah, that's the one they're referencing in the picture there. Now, Tata Motors, when this video came out, market cap, well, the dividend yield, again, not financial advice, pretty abysmal dividend yield. They only give 0.39% dividend. That's terrible. But yeah, in the past 6 months, they're down to 18%. Past month, they're down 12%. And when this news came out, granted, they're not going bankrupt, but it already ticked back up a little bit. But it looks like when this video first posted last week, it went down by 3.51%. Now, this person is actually looking at the month. Yeah, that added up in the month for that screenshot is down 13.43%. But again, that's a month of data. Part of that is because their cars aren't selling, and you're going to have to expenditure a lot of cash and capital to get the new EV manufacturing sites up. So there are a couple other variables. Single variable analysis is rare. Not, you got to be careful with that because there's a lot of things you don't see and can't control. But I do think that's a contributing factor why some people might be moving away from it. But and culturally speaking, this is already backlash. And granted, not everyone is on X. A lot of people are famously leaving the platform. So some argue maybe it's becoming more right-leaning in terms of the total volume of users on X. But to me, I think one of the biggest cultural issues with the latest presidential election was kind of rejecting wokeism, as a lot of people would call it. So I'm even more surprised that Jaguar is leaning into this. And I culturally think they're just going to get roasted on social media for the next, indefinite, maybe 6 months. I mean, Bud Light kind of petered out about 7 to 12 months after the whole Dylan Mulvaney incident. So I suspect we'll see a similar trajectory of, people making fun of them, especially if they keep posting these weird commercials, and Lord only knows how ugly their vehicles will look. Again, making a beautiful EV is not impossible. Some have been made, but it's few and far in between, especially when you have a long legacy of heritage of making what are beautiful cars, especially with the E-Type, which again, I think that's one of the best cars of all time in terms of design. And here you can see some of the old previous Jaguars where, again, especially, I miss those spoked rims. I know they don't make them anymore in mass volume, but yeah, it used to be. That's probably one of my best ads ever. It says a beautiful animal. It's one of the Jaguar E-Types in a field. Now that's a good ad. It's leaning into the pun, or leaning into the fact that they're named after an animal. It's got the nice little foliage around it. The color of the car blends in well with the foliage, but not too much. That's a good ad. And of course, they have a little info scribbled down there and they talk about the speeds and feeds of it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, culturally speaking, I think they just fell flat on their face. And I don't. Let me know in the comments if you think if they'll stick down this path, or do you think maybe they'll backpedal next couple weeks? Let me know your thoughts are, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have The View advocating that men should be able to go in women's restrooms, and they're irate that this might be illegal soon. Heaven forbid. Now this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, in which she says, quote, "The View hosts are insane." Wait a minute. That's not news. I'm partially kidding. She says, continue quote, "They're going all out advocating for men to invade women's spaces and suggested Republican congresswomen are more dangerous to share a bathroom with than a man." This is all caps. "Men do not belong in women's restrooms." End of story, which, fact check, true. And let's see, it's about a minute long, or a minute and 1 second, which granted, I should specify that additional second because any clip of the view, 1 second can feel like an eternity. I can't but imagine there are some theories of hell, and some people theorize that it's a custom environment to make it as miserable as possible for the individual. If that is the case, I can't but think, well, I don't want to say the devil's job is easy, but I can't but think a lot of copy-paste would be having people watch The View forever, which I can only, I don't even dare to imagine. And I do have to give you a little visual disclaimer because you're about to see The View, which ironically is a view not, I don't think anyone actually, more than 12 people would want to see, but nevertheless, without too much further ado.
Flipping her the middle finger because she is the one person in the house that this will affect. It's for House and their staff. One person, one person. And this woman that sat at our table was one of the most decent, amazing politicians I've ever seen. Her messaging was resounded across the boards. And as she herself said, I am not here as the first I'm not here on a cause. I'm here as a person with ideas. And that was the point here. And what I'd be more scared of if I were there is going into the bathroom with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Because she started a fight.
Why? I mean, granted, I know women's restrooms, I can only theorize what's inside there. I've heard they have like couches and they socialize. I mean, if Marjorie Taylor Greene was in there with you, I think they'd at least be entertained and hear some conspiracy theories.
With Nancy Mace, we saw
Lauren Boebert.
Boebert. I always get all of them confused. But also remember Matt Gaetz. We were just talking about him. He started an almost brawl on camera. And Kevin McCarthy, like, where's our what we do in church?
Wait, wouldn't that be why she would want to be in a women's restroom so that he could not go in there? I know perhaps I'm using even rudimentary knowledge or just logic is too much for The View. Maybe I'm going too far.
Like, let's add, we're at work right now. They are beating the crap out of each other, and they're worried about this amazing human being making a difference.
This person's so brave, so beautiful. What are their accomplishments? Oh yeah, they don't care about those.
In D.C.
Probably wants a job with Trump.
Well, she didn't listen to the voters who are hurting because if she's
conflating of issues.
Oh, that's painful. We got through it together though, which. Yeah, that went pretty viral. Got 1.5 million views and 26,000 likes. Which, yeah, is that? I forget all the gals' names in there. Is that Joy Behar? Joy? Ironically, they have a couple gals on The View whose name are Joy, in which I've never seen them happy or full of joy. Quite interestingly ironic and a weird name. Though, don't have much ground to stand on, or because my name is Topping, but I partially digress. Now, one of the first comments, and again, I'm a little biased. I'll read this comment. I can't but think he again is handsome and brilliant. He's me again on X Twitter as #TheToppingShow, which I say, quote, LMFAO, this show can't make any money. Who really tunes in except to laugh at them? I got 10 likes, which, again, is it a loss leader for the ABC company? Like, is it literally, I would love to see the finances of, does it really make them money? Because if this was just subscription only, like Timcast IRL or something like that, or like Louder Crowder, I don't think The View is sustainable from a business perspective. Now, again, they have some lunatic fans. I'm sure they have some passionate fans who love them. I mean, surely a disproportionate percentage is in San Francisco, but is that enough to actually sustain those bloated salaries? Some might argue as bloated as their figures. Some might argue the salaries are as bloated as their figures. Some need reinforced chairs. It's beautiful American steel. That's why it's a tariff. Which, that might be the worst Trump impression you hear all year, but hopefully at least made your Thanksgiving special with that being so bad of an impression, so to say. Now, scrolling down to other top comments, you also have Riley Gaines saying, quote, I'm tired of this, quote, it's just one person argument. Yes, it's one narcissistic man, but he's imposing himself on all women, unquote, getting 16,000 likes. Lives of TikTok responded with simply a target emoji, getting 624. Let's make it 625 likes. You also have Based Electrician, which, that's A+ marketing. You know exactly what he does. He's self-employed. Shoot, he should put a URL or like a number there, but I partially digress. The Based Electrician says, quote, the woman on The View think that this guy, grammar be damned, I'm going to read it as exactly as typed. This guy is such an amazing human being that he should be allowed to hang out with women while they use the restroom. And it is clearly a biological man, which I suppose maybe we should give him some credit. He did suit up, as all men should, but yeah, clearly a biological man. Got 162 likes for that picture. Let's see. Troy Pakali says, she's one to talk about not listening to voters who won by the vast majority of votes. These clucking hens don't even realize that their echo chamber has been stripped away from them, getting 3 likes, which, I don't know, hens? I always thought cows would be a better metaphor. Because, again, hens and chickens, they're not spineless and weak, they're actually brave. Especially, a rooster, he would die to protect his hen. I mean, I don't think any of these gals would have that type of courage. Now, you also have, what is this? Going down more and more. Life God gun memes. There's no gun in the picture, but nevertheless, says, quote, she makes no sense. Then let me explain it like this. It says, crazy but true. If this girl sees again, try to keep this moderately family friendly, cover your ears here, children listening. So I'll say, quote, if this girl sees a penis at a party, it's a crime. And that's a picture of a woman, adult grown woman. And the bottom picture is a child. It says, but if this girl sees a penis in the women's restroom, is tolerance. Vote Republican and end the madness. Getting 308 likes. Yep. We get 309. Yeah, never forget, don't go to Planet Fitness, because, yeah, they allow that. They allow full-grown men to change in women's locker rooms. Yeah. As if we needed another reason not to go there anyway. Let's see here. You also have House of Trad saying they hate women. It's what's that weird-looking guy? It looks like, what is that Star Trek figure? Jabba the Hutt? I'm kidding. I know it's, Battlestar Galactica. I know it's Star Wars. But, yeah, it's the Jabba the Hutt-looking character who's a biological man who grown up. Is it Rachel Levine? I don't know, whatever it is. But it has that figure, and the text on the meme says, we are the Democrats. We believe in Simons. Except for the chromosome thing. We don't believe in that one. Getting 449 likes. David Sullivan, prosecute Fauci pronouns, says, so out of touch, does anyone watch their show? And it's a picture of The View, which, oh, sorry. It says, next time you feel dumb, remember there are people who watch The View every day. Getting 203 likes, which, yeah, of all the methodologies to gain information, well, I can't help but think that'd be the least efficient one. I got 203 likes, though. Scrolling down more and more. You have Elizabeth Aaron says, quote, I wonder why drag queens never want to read to old folks in the nursing homes. Getting 82 likes. Good question. Let's see. You have the House of Trad saying they literally hate the truth. And it's a picture of a vampire who's squinting and trying to look away from the sun. Then you have a picture of Superman squinting away and looking away from facts, or kryptonite. And then you have leftists cringing and looking away from facts. Got 122 likes. Scrolling down more and more. Not seeing any too many contrarian statements. Let's see. Yeah, I was gonna say just The View being The View, and again, I can't but wonder they keep going down this road. And again, we saw Trump won the popular vote, first time Republican done that in 20 years. I mean, I don't. Again, they have some audience. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this line of ideology is really gonna be long-term profitable for The View. It's also not logical at all. But on top of that, I don't think it's gonna be profitable for them. So The View doing what The View does. Let me know. Do you think The View is really profitable right now? And then, do you think they'll actually increase their viewership next, 12, 24, 36 months? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Donald Trump's statement on Lakin Riley's killer being found guilty. Now this comes straight from Donald Trump's good old ex-Twitter account, which he says, quote, Justin for Lakin Riley, the illegal who killed our beloved Lakin Riley was just found guilty on all counts for his horrific crimes. Although the pain and heartbreak will last forever, hopefully this can help bring some peace and closure to her wonderful family who fought for justice and to ensure that other families don't have to go through what they have. We love you, Lakin, and our hearts will always be with you. It is time to secure the border and remove these criminals and thugs from our country so nothing like this will happen again. Unquote. And I got 32.2 million views and 375,000 likes. Now, one of the first comments comes from Valentina Gomez, who says, quote, death penalty for every illegal that murders an American citizen, justice for Lakin Riley, getting 11,000 likes, which, yeah, spoiler alert, the Soros-appointed DA is a radical leftist who, no, they will not give, they actually said death penalty is off the table for this illegal who killed a young, innocent gal who had a bright future. Now, Laughable Legends responded saying Lakin Riley's murder was found guilty on 10 counts. This is the district attorney who refused to seek the death penalty, and it says IT ethics violation coming. There's, of course, the leftist judge with, is it the rainbow flag or rainbow collage? And then it's what do you call those silly things people put in them yards? What do you call those? Campaign signs? I forgot. I thought there's a specific term for those silly things everyone puts in their yards. And yeah, it's the DA, Deborah Gonzalez, and she has a Harris Walls sign. It says, we're not going back. It says Harris Walls 2024, Deborah Gonzalez for DA. I laugh because that district attorney only got 6 likes on her post. not to brag, but a couple weeks ago, I got 13 likes on a video, a record high. Which, again, is a friendly reminder to like this video, or downvote it, let me know in the comments. You also have the rabbit hole saying many criminals fly under the radar. And there's a graph that says violent aliens, illegal alien homicides, and cover your ears, haven't trouble listening. Illegal aliens and sexual homicide convictions by detainment. Blue is detained, red is not detained. And trying to see, this is data that comes from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Trying to see, unfortunately, I'm not seeing a year on this statistic, but it did show, yeah, 200 of homicide, they detained 277 and did not detain 13,099. Again, sexual assault getting 509 detained and 15,811 not detained. Yeah. Now that got 2.3 thousand likes. Email Strong says she deserved better, getting 1.2 thousand likes. Oh, just made it 1.3 thousand likes. There we go. Also, Zupa says, remember Lakin, remember all the victims and their families. The illegals who wrecked the lives of these Americans would have never been here if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did their job securing the border. We must never forget. Getting 481 likes, 82 likes actually, which, I mean, they did this, they purposely repealed all of Trump's position, all of his executive orders, all of his policies that had led to a secured border. I mean, this is if Biden and Harris were just woefully inept and just sat down and did nothing, it would have been better for our country, actually, especially on the immigration issue, illegal immigration, I should clarify. And yeah, it's because they repealed all Trump's policies, which were working. I mean, just look at the statistics on having this huge exponential increase in illegals crossing when Biden and Harris in office. You also have American Papa Bear saying, quote, never forget that this is because Biden and Harris and Mayorkas allowed this to happen, getting 602 likes. True. Let's see. Mega B23 says, please make them angry. And they say, quote, Article 4, Section 4 of our Constitution requires our government to protect and defend our borders. If the government does not, the Constitution, by virtue of the named part here then, authorizes the free citizens to defend themselves and their state in place of treasonous government. Note, in not defending our borders, government gives aid and cover to hostile foreign invasion, and this, under Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution, is properly labeled as treason, getting 27 likes, which, yeah, in reality, the opposite happened. The U.S. government sued great places or states, or some might argue the great countries of Texas, as well as Arizona, and when they were trying to enforce the border, the federal government said, oh, you can't do that. So not only were they woefully inept, they were corrupt and or evil, or all of the above. Let's see. Not seeing any contrarian statements. You have declaration of memes, which A+, they did in fact respond in meme form, saying Democrat 101. It's a lineup of clowns, and it says in 2024, record inflation, record gas prices, record tax prices, record food prices, record crime rates, record energy prices, record housing prices, record wage disparity, record money spent on illegals, and you're waiting in line to vote Democrat again, getting 1.5 thousand likes, which, some of them do say vote blue no matter who. Not all of them, but leftists do. Let's see. Nick Sorter says, people like Mayorkas should be rotting in prison for allowing this to happen. No more. Getting 7,000 likes. Which, yeah, talk about not doing your job. Although maybe he was just doing what he was ordered to do, which, again, is not an excuse. He should be, I would argue he should be prosecuted for treason and have his day in court. Because he clearly did not do his job. Quite the opposite. He made it all worse. And, yeah, let me know. And actually, let me know in the comments. I know one of the controversial things in the United States is the death penalty. A lot of people say it should. Some people say it shouldn't. In this case, the DA said, oh, yeah, we're not going after that. So the U.S. tax dollar had to pay to house that POS in prison for the rest of his life. Yeah. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I mean, one of Trump's controversial ideas when he was campaigning was he said, if you're an illegal in the United States and you killed an American citizen, you should be given the death penalty. Now, the issue is that I'm not sure from a legal perspective if he would have to somehow bump up these to be federal crimes. Again, this was this court was in Georgia, I believe, and again, that was a state. So I'm not sure how that would work in terms of would you have to reclassify it? Because again, Trump is working on a federal level. And let me know in the comments, are you pro-death penalty? Do you think that POS should be getting a life in prison? Or perhaps some might argue worse than death, should he have to be in prison and 24 hours a day has to watch The View? I'm obviously partially kidding. It's almost unfathomable that these monsters are among us. And again, they're let in. And we have yet to see anyone held accountable for the ineptitudes of having an open border. But let me know your thoughts are in the comments, because as always, it'll be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Wolverine beef being recalled. Although, I'm surprised they're not sued by Marvel yet. Now, this comes to us thanks to CNN Health, which somehow CNN still exists. Maybe not for long. They're having to fire some of their bottom talent. They're not top talent. Top would be good, like topping, but I partially digress. This comes just thanks to Jamie Gubenkert, who says, quote, ground beef recalled due to possible E. coli contamination. Here you can see some of that beef right there. Now, they say, quote, Wolverine Packing Co., which the fact they don't have, I mean, it's a different category, so I don't think there's realistically going to be a lawsuit unless they throw out a Wolverine logo. Marvel's not going to care. But it is, I don't know, first thing I thought was kind of funny is like, what if Wolverine, the X-Men character, in his downtime, because again, he's lived longer than anyone else, he also fights crime, but in the downtime, he also has his, beef company. Which, that could be maybe a boring beef story for a film. That actually would be better than most Marvel films these days, just a movie about him starting a beef company. But I partially digress. Now, they say, quote, Wolverine Packing Co. is recalling more than 167,000 pounds of ground beef shipped to restaurants due to possible E. coli contamination. 15 cases were reported in Minnesota, with illnesses starting from November 2nd to November 12th, the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Food Safety Inspection Service said. Fresh produce has the best use by date of November 14. Frozen products are labeled with production date of October 22nd. Products of the establishment number of S2574B in the USDA mark of inspection. They noted that items were shipped to restaurants nationwide. The agency said it's concerned about some products may be in restaurants' refrigerators or freezers. All the products should be thrown away and returned and not be eaten. Minnesota Department of Agriculture notified the Food and Safety Inspection Service on November 13th about the illnesses in people who have eaten the ground beef. On November 20th, a ground beef sample collected by the Minnesota Department of Agriculture tested positive for E. coli 0157. Now, looks like thankfully, silver lining, no one's passed away from the specific recall. Now, the company said, quote, we are also conducting an intensive internal audit to review fully suppliers and processes in place, including rigorous quality control measures to maintain the highest standards of production. As a third-generation, family-owned and operated company in business for nearly 90 years, we are committed to food and consumer safety. This is our highest priority. Now, the good news about this this situation, thankfully, again, they have not even seen anyone who's been too detrimentally ill from it. So, in some cases, these food recalls especially, there are some people that pass away. So, again, the situation could be much worse. And in this case, in terms of business ramifications, hopefully they're okay. It's a 90-year-old family-owned company. And in terms of recalls, because they sound to be a business-to-business operation, I don't think you'll see most people, I don't think their sales would tank too much, especially, hopefully they get things tip-top in shape. Because again, usually you see a lot of sales go down as business to consumer. So again, if they were to sell this at, Target or Walmart, where actually people can see the logo and associate the brand, anything, in this case, not so much. I suspect they'll be okay, but still, you've been around this long, you want to make sure you're around for another 90 years plus. You gotta have to make sure you have the most standards in place, and having a product where, again, I'm not sure, maybe someone's just having an off day and they've got to test a sample, but they're starting to recall this, and it's going to cost them not just, quality in terms of, relationships with the restaurants that they're selling to, but also they're going to have to pay those restaurants to get back, so that's going to be a big chunk of change for them as well. So overall, I gotta say, Wolverine Packaging Company, I gotta say, you are certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. Just let me know what can I do better to make the show more entertaining, better for you. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.